and welcome to the Big Bang.
Got it.
Violet, what are you doing?
What?
What's going on?
It's a surprise. I've lost some small things back in the mo.
In today's programme,
I'll be making a model land yacht from plastic rulers and a knitting needle.
I'll be making a home for my ants, if I can find them all.
And we'll be introducing you to the world's smallest aircraft carrier.
but first, a trick. Balloon, cup, balloon. Violet, the trick is to pick up that cup with that balloon. Go on.
OK, I know. You let the air out of the balloon and then you blow it up again inside the cup.
That'll be a no, then. You can't let the air out of the balloon.
OK, go on, show us your trick. Oh, great trickster.
Well, first of all, you need to douse your balloon in a nice bath of very cold water. And you need some nice hot water in your cup. And very quickly, you need to empty out the hot water from your cup. Take your nice cold balloon and put it over the top of the cup. And within a few seconds, hopefully you should be able to pick up the cup. Voila! Or as they say in France, there you go.
Whoa, that is really impressive, but how does it work?
Well, you see, the warm water expands the air in the cup. But when it comes in contact with a nice cold balloon, that air contracts, it shrinks. And as it shrinks, the pressure in the cup gets lower. So the normal air pressure in the room will push the cup onto the balloon and hold it.
OK, very clever, but I have an even trickier trick for you.
Go on then, trickster.
Piece of card with 2 rings on it. Now, when I move it, one of the rings will move the most. Will you be able to predict in advance which one it will be?
Violet, you haven't got the hang of this trick business. You've actually just shown me the answer. It's the orange one that is wobbling the most.
I think my trick will be trickier than you suspect. Find out if Gareth is right or wrong at the end of the programme.
I'm right.
Wrong.
Right.
Wrong.
Right.
Ever wondered why a person pulls this sort of a face? Or this? Well, let's show some emotion. Our facial expressions show how we feel inside, but how do we know which is the right face for the right emotion? Well, it's a bit like learning to talk. When you are young, you learn which face means happy, and which face means sad. What kind of a face is this? Practice makes perfect, and soon pulling the right face becomes a habit. For example, here's a shocking fact. When Ernest hears a bang, he will involuntarily move his head, blink, change his facial expression, raise his shoulders, bend his upper arms and elbows, flex his fingers, move his body forward, contract his tummy, and bend his knees. The strangest facial expression known to science is this. It is used only by tall people, and no one knows precisely its meaning.
But this is my model racing land yacht, Violet.
But all I'm saying, Gareth, is if it were me, I'd build a much meaner machine. That's all.
OK, you go and build a mean machine, and I'll show these guys how to make my variety.
And then we could have a race.
Good deal.
OK.
A yacht like this is so easy to make, and you start off, would you believe, with a knitting needle. Now, I'm using quite a wide knitting needle here, and this is going to be the mast. Now, the main body of the land yacht is a pair of rulers attached together with an elastic band. They're attached at right angles, and there's a hole drilled quarter of the way down one of the rulers. Now, you're going to need to drill a hole big enough for your mast to go through, and if you're not very good at using a drill, find someone around the house who is, and then glue that in position. Violet, how are you getting on?
Fine, thanks.
Now, the wheels are simple. They are the saucers that go underneath houseplant pots with a hole in the end big enough for a cocktail stick to go through. Now, the cocktail stick is your axle, and the axle needs to turn on something, so you need a bearing, and the bearing is this bit of a drinking straw, and that's held in position with another piece of plastic glued just there like that, and that makes it nice and free to turn quickly. Now, you'll need to attach your wheels to your chassis, so you need to prepare your chassis, your main body, first by adding 3 plastic building blocks. Glue them in position at the end of the rulers, and then glue your bearing, your drinking straw, in position on one of those plastic building blocks.
Now, where is it? Aha! Got it!
Before you can attach your sail to your land yacht, you're going to need to make some modifications to the mast. And that means attaching a paper clip at the top, straightened out and taped in position. Now what this does is allow you to increase the area of your sail. And the bigger the sail, the quicker it will go. The sail is supported at the bottom by a piece of tape holding a pencil in place to form the boom. And the boom is tied off with a sheet line. Now, a sheet line is just a piece of string from the back of the pencil to the back of the main body. And this allows you to adjust the angle of the sail and therefore trim its performance. Now, the sail itself is a piece of plastic, a bin liner, taped in position. And finally, your land yacht is ready to race. Are you done now?
Yep, I think we need to find ourselves a racetrack. This should do it.
It looks impressive, Violet, but it doesn't mean it'll go faster than my land yacht.
How wrong you are. It's got stiffer rulers, so it doesn't waste energy bouncing around. Plus, this means I can add a bigger sail, more power. It's got a harder shock absorbent system on the wheel mountings, and I've added this cunning adjuster so I can tweak the sail trim and really get this baby flying. It's a heavier but more powerful machine. Gareth, you're gonna eat my dust.
Thank you, Jeremy Clarkson. Violet, it's the taking part that counts.
Okay, first pass the flag.
On your marks.
Get set.
Go! Whoa! Spread it out. Go on, little fella. Come on, come on. Come on, Mark. Come on, this way, this way. She's getting away. Come on, oh, I've got the angle right. Look on, go on. Oh, he's rolled, he's rolled. Oh, it's fun!
Go!
Come on!
Yes.
You won!
I won.
All right, I bow to your better design. Who's going to pay for the bubbly afterwards?
Today's strange but true story is about the people who invented flying.
Oh, yes, it was those two American guys who flew at Kitty Hawk. What were their names?
Wrong.
No, you're nearly right. Ah, it was the Wright brothers.
It was the Wright brothers who made the first manned-powered flight nearly 100 years ago, but they weren't the first people to fly. The father of modern aviation was a British inventor called Sir George Cayley.
Hello, Violet.
Hi. He knew you needed wings. Fairly obvious, really, since most flying things, birds, insects, bats, all have wings. Then you need a body to put them on. And you also need fins and stuff for control. Birds have a tail that does the same job. So why was Cayley so clever? Well, he was the first guy to work out that wings would only work if you held them at the right angle.
Cayley knew his tilted wings could lift a machine into the air as long as it was moving fast enough. So he decided to launch his glider off the side of a hill and fly it across a valley. He got his coachman to be the pilot, and it was the first ever manned heavier-than-air flight. But when the glider crash-landed, his coachman said,
"Sir, I resign. I was hired to drive horses."
Cayley was happy, his glider worked, but to build an aeroplane, he needed an engine.
This is where the Wright brothers were lucky. They had a light and powerful petrol engine, whereas Cayley only had a heavy steam engine.
But Cayley's ideas about the angle of the wing were right. It was the key to successful flight.
Gareth, what are you up to?
Well, I just think we ought to demonstrate this angle stuff. So I've got a small aircraft that we're going to fly, and this is my aircraft carrier.
No, you're going to launch an aircraft off a car.
I am, yes. All I have to do is drive up to 70 miles per hour, and that should be fast enough for the plane to take off. But it won't, because the wing is at the wrong angle.
Right, no angle, no lift.
Spot on. Then all the pilot has to do is pull back on the controls, the tail goes down, and the wing reaches an angle where it generates lift, and...
Up, up and away.
You've got it.
Is it going to work?
I certainly hope so.
Car on runway 2, you are clear for takeoff.
Thank you, Control.
Cayley never built a plane with an engine, but he did write that one day
We shall be able to transport ourselves and families more securely by air than by water. Right, there we are, 70 miles per hour. Now, the plane can fly at this speed, but it's still on the roof. So time for action.
Just as Kaylee predicted. With the wings angled down, the plane can't fly. But as soon as the nose comes up and the wings have the right angle of attack, then away she goes. Good old Kaylee. 9,001, 9,002, that's a lot.
What's the lot?
Look at these. These are leaf cutter ants.
So what do they do?
They cut up leaves with their sharp little jaws. Then they chew up the leaves and they grow fungus on the chewed leaves, and that's what they eat. Ants may be small, but they're highly organised and efficient, just like me.
Are they easy to keep?
Leafcutter ants need special care because they come from tropical countries, but you can make your own ant colony by collecting ants from this country. Red ants, or their proper name is Myrmica rubra. I've made my own ant colony. Do you want to see? It's on the coffee table.
Oh, let's have a look.
OK, this is my ant home. I'll give you a guided tour. These are the feeding stations where the ants come for their nosh. Then under this black cardboard, that's their nest, and they move between the two using these plastic straw corridors. I'll show you how to make one. You start off with a base. I've got a baking tray for that. Then you need to build the nest. For the nest, get some clear plastic packaging, then drill or cut some holes, 2 holes in the side here, and slip some drinking straw through them. That's for the corridors. And in the top of a pin, make some pinpricks. I'll show you what that's for later on. That will go there. Next, the feeding stations. For this, 2 plastic cups. The first one, you need to cut the bottom off and then cut a hole there, and that's for the straw. Put that in, like so. And then for the other one, cut a flap off the bottom of the cup and cut the plastic top off and replace it with kitchen cloth so that the air can get in and the moisture can get out. Pop that on there like that. Now you need to feed and water your ants every day. For the water, get some kitchen sponge, soak it in water, then wring it out so it isn't too wet, and pop it in the nest. You'll be able to water them every day by putting water on the top, and it'll seep through the pinprick holes. Next, seal everything down with tape so the ants can't escape. So how are you going to feed them? Well, for the food, you've got cotton wool soaked in sugar water, and then I've pushed it into these straws. And to feed them, because this will be sealed down, you take the lid off, pop the food in like that, and replace the lid. Finally, you need a cover to keep their nest nice and dark. So that's just black cardboard, and you can just place it on the top and take it off when you want to observe them.
Great ant home, Violet, but how do you collect the ants?
Well, you have to pick the right day. If the weather's too cool, then there won't be any out and about. But if it's too warm, then they'll crawl down into deeper soil where it's cool. So pick a mild day and look under flat rocks, because the sun heats up the flat rocks and the ants kind of use this as a sort of central heating system.
So how do you collect the ants?
Well, you use one of these. It's called a pooter. Plastic drinks bottle with the barrel of a felt tip pen in both ends, but make sure the end you're going to suck from, you have to put a bit of kitchen cloth over it, because otherwise you'd suck the ants up into your mouth. And make sure, whatever you do, only suck up red ants, no others.
I'll tell you what, if you watch these ants every day, Violet, you could actually keep a diary of their antics.
Fantastic.
Oh.
I'd like to watch them all day. We've only got time, though, for my trick. Do you remember it?
Oh, yes.
The rings. When I move the board, which one will move the most?
Well, I told you before, it's the big orange one.
OK, watch this then.
OK, best out of 3, it's the small yellow one.
Wrong.
Hang on a minute, what's going on here?
Well, when I wobble the board quickly, the small one moves the most. And when I wobble it slowly, it's the big one. It's to do with something called resonance.
Ah, another resounding trick. Get it? Resounding? Resonance? OK, if I wobble this giant ant, how long before it attacks you?
There's lots more tricks and makes in the Big Bang book, out now.